Hi. A few days ago, while speaking to the National Assembly or the joint session of the Parliament, the Prime Minister made a startling claim. He said that he doesn't understand why people say Qaid-e-Azam or Mr. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, the founding father of Pakistan, is considered secular because what he was saying in the 11th August speech was all about Islam. Now, I think it's important to set the record straight. I have nothing against people talking about Islam, and I think everybody should have the right of freedom of expression. But let us not distort the facts of history. I have with me the Jinnah papers. This is volume volume 4 of the first series. This has been published by the Qaid-e-Azam Papers Project Cabinet Division of Pakistan, and within it, contained within this, is the 11th August speech on page 535. I'm just going to turn to page 535 and let you have a look. So the President's address, or the Constituent Assembly President's address, is found on page 535 of this book. As I said, you can rewind and see the exact reference. Now, this speech was made in response to Kiran Shankar Roy, who is a Congress leader and the leader of the opposition in the Pakistan Constituent Assembly. Kiran Shankar Roy had gotten up and said, Sir, as far as we are concerned, if Pakistan, which you have in mind, means a secular democratic state, a state which will make no difference between a citizen and citizen, which will deal fairly with all irrespective of caste, creed or community, I assure you that you shall have our utmost cooperation. So this is what Mr. Kiran Shankar Roy said. Now Mr. Jinnah stood up, he spoke at length, he spoke about the functions of government, he spoke about what was required for the Constituent Assembly to do. Interestingly, in the entire speech, the word Islam is conspicuously absent. So, what does he say? Now, after talking about the various problems that were plaguing both Pakistan and India, or as it was known as Hindustan then, Mr. Jinnah asks and says very frankly that he thought that the idea of united India was unworkable. Maybe that is correct, maybe it is not. But then he goes on to say what the solution is. And he talks about making Pakistan happy and prosperous. And then he talks about the well-being of people and especially of the masses and the poor. If you will work in cooperation, forgetting the past, burying the hatchet, you are bound to succeed. If you change your past and work together in a spirit that every one of you, no matter to what community he belongs, no matter what relations he's had with you in the past, no matter what is his color, caste or creed, is first, second and last a citizen of the state with equal rights, privileges and obligations, there will be no end to the progress you will make. And then he goes on to speak about the angularities and how these angularities of the Hindu community and the Muslim community would vanish if they work together. Indeed, if you ask me, this is Mr. Jinnah saying, indeed, if you ask me, this has been the biggest hindrance in the way of India to attain its freedom and independence. But for this, we would have been free peoples long, long ago. No power can hold another nation, especially a nation of 400 million souls in subjection. Nobody would have conquered you. Or even if it had happened, nobody could have continued to hold on you for any length of time but for this. Therefore, we must learn a lesson from this. This is Jinnah speaking. You are free to go to your temples, you are free to go to your mosques or any other place of worship in the state of Pakistan. You may belong to any religion, caste or creed. That has nothing to do with the business of the state. Nothing to do with the business of the state. Then he goes on to quote the example of England. He says, as you know, history shows that in England conditions some time ago were much worse than those prevailing in India today. the Roman Catholics and the Protestants persecuted each other. Even so, there are some states in existence where there are discriminations made and bars imposed against a particular class. Thank God we are not starting in those days. We are starting in days when there is no discrimination, no distinction between one community and another, no discrimination between one caste or creed and another. We are starting with this fundamental principle that we are all citizens and equal citizens of one state. The people of England, in course of time, had to face the realities of the situation and had to discharge the responsibilities and burdens placed upon them by the government of their country, and they went through that fire step by step. Today, you may say with justice that Roman Catholics and Protestants do not exist. What exists now is that every man is a citizen, equal citizen of Great Britain, and they are all members of the nation. So the example he's quoting is Great Britain. He's not quoting Islam. He's not talking about any ancient idea or a religious idea for that matter, and I have nothing against religion, but this is just how it is. But this is the clincher. Now I'm going to read out the clincher. It says, now I think we should keep that in front of us as our ideal, and you will find that in course of time, Hindus would cease to be Hindus and Muslims would cease to be Muslims, not in a religious sense, because that is the personal faith of each individual, but in the political sense as citizens of the state. Mr. Jinnah wanted to eradicate religion as a political difference. Now you may well ask this question, what happened? Why did Mr. Jinnah create Pakistan then? After all, he created Pakistan for Muslims. First of all, you have to realize Mr. Jinnah was not born on 23rd March 1940. He had a long career, and most of that career was spent composing differences between, bringing together Hindus and Muslims. He was called the ambassador of Hindu-Muslim unity. It was a solution that he was looking for. But in any event, that I would be speaking about in later videos. For now, what I wanted to point out is that the 11th August speech, no matter how you look at it, no matter how you frame it, speaks about a secular democratic state. Denying this has only brought countless misery to Pakistan and the people of Pakistan. So I suggest that instead of chasing dreams, it is important to live in the moment and understand that Pakistan is a modern nation state, and the only way forward for Pakistan is to follow Mr. Jinnah's prescription on 11th August in letter and spirit. Thank you.